Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and Eric July had his third whoops of the year recently when he knowingly, and I always want to emphasize that, knowingly shipped damaged items to his customers again. The first two were uh, problems with double page spreads or cinematic decisions, as he calls them, and then the third one was misspelling, very prominent misspelling on every single certificate of authenticity for an e-celeb's biography. um, but as I don't know how it is in other countries, but in America, whenever someone gets in trouble, they do one of two things, and often both. They hide behind patriotism or they hide behind religion. It's either the flag or the cross. And in this kind of chilly December, Eric has decided to hide behind the flag. So I covered yesterday where he made this speech about when I started the RIPPAVERSE, and it was just basically like, "Hey, I know I really screwed up for the third time this year, and I knowingly sent you damaged product, but when I started, I just wanted to give people jobs." And that sounds good if you don't know anything about his business. His business is a warehouse. That's his. So he's talking about, for too long. Well, that turned French. For too long. For too long, talented creators couldn't eat off their own creations, and consistent, sustainable work in comics became nearly impossible. We wanted to change that by proving there's another way, a model that employ. That's I'm not. That's how he types. A model that employ hardworking people in an industry that means so much to me. So his employees are the people who work at his warehouse. The people who write the books, who draw the books, sorry, the people who write the books and the South Americans who draw the books are not employees. They're contractors. And there's not, I mean, I've never heard of anyone not getting paid, but he's creating this impression that, whatever, Brett Blevins or whatever, he's just broke. He just wants a job. And God darn it, Eric going to give him a job. Sweeping floors in a warehouse because he has no. Now, the only one I think might be employees. The Saskas might be employees because in addition to writing, they are also kind of doing PR. So every day, they'll. Please look at the screen. Have you picked up Norfolka Glorious Death yet? This guy looks like trouble with a capital T. Mom! Like, that is so mom. Like, Jesus Christ. What the hell? This company sucks. So anyway, I'll go through a short video, and I think I'm just gonna let it play through because it'll capture the audio while I'm talking, right? I have stuff to do. I don't have time to EFAP for 20 hours or what do those losers do. So Eric July yesterday did the equivalent of clapter. Now I know there's this whole thing. It's like, man, America's so woke you can't even make a joke anymore, and that was true from like the end of 2017 to like the beginning of 2020. But man, just go to the mothership in Austin. They're retard training, retard training. That's all they're saying all day long. Nobody has been limited by jokes for several years, many years. In fact, it's the opposite. Some really dog shit comedians are doing great right now, just doing the most awful, you know. But there was a while where there was like the woke comedian showcase, and they were awful. It was just giant fat black woman, and she's like, "Yeah, it's time. Things are different around here." So they would go for clapter, and clapter is a type of clapping or applause in comedy that arises when a comedian delivers a joke with the purpose of making the audience applaud and agree instead of laugh. So we get this, him uh, retweeting this this guy with an America First gif, and he's like, "You have no idea how much I respect you for this, Eric D. July. God bless you. I pray that God helps your company grow exponentially, even beyond 1,000-fold." Oh, fucking Christ. Can you imagine that? First of all, I just love, like, that's like a genie's type of wish. Like, I wish I was huge, and you're just this, like, giant ball of muscle, 1,000 feet tall, but your head is still the same size. Wait, you want the company of 10 to 15 employees to grow by 1,000? Why? What would everybody do? You'd just be sitting there with a broom because once every 5 years you get to sweep, and then someone else gets to because there's not enough work for everyone. Like, what is this? Again, I saw the flag. I didn't realize this was the flag and the cross. So what did Eric say? So we get this cheesy. I mean, this looks like, actually, you know what? AI would make this look a lot better, because this looks like typical shitty Eric July RIPPAVERSE art. So the RIPPAVERSE is committed to keeping Americans employed. Sweeping a warehouse. We've been presented with AI solutions to cut costs. Many have taken that path, and layoffs are spreading. We're not here to tell others what to do, but our stance is clear. We will not replace our employees with AI. You can't. You literally can't. This isn't like MurderBots. You have employees who, like, put comics in boxes and tape them and put them into a truck. There's no part of your employees that could be. It's like me saying, like, man, I don't care what. I will not join the NBA. I am not going to be a point, center guard, fullback. I don't know the positions in basketball. It's like saying, I swear to God, I will not be an astronaut. You're not going to replace any of your employees because your employees are warehouse workers who move physical objects. But again, like I said, the motto of the RIPPAVERSE is saying things that sound smart to dummies. So let's watch this, and I hope it doesn't get garbled when I do my voiceover, but, like, I got shit to do.
You know, I've said...
Okay, so I just want to say, that sigh, that was practiced. Like, he's like, you know, oh man, you know, I just be being so real all the time. It be bothering me to talk about this shit. But, you know, I got to do.
Said it before, but I do think it's worth saying again, especially with how fast all...
I love how he takes a strong, we will see it's not a strong stance against AI. But what's your stance against random clips? It's just like random video clips.
This AI stuff is moving. Here at the RIPPAVERSE, we've been very clear about our stance. We do not knowingly use generative AI to create our artwork or scripts. With how advanced and sneaky this technology has become...
I love how he uses technical terms like sneaky. Man, this AI should be sneaky as a motherfucker. Shit.
It's possible that something could slip through the cracks, but if it ever does, it's not intentional.
You mean like the 3D assets in every single panel of ISOM #1?
And it's not how we operate. Our goal has always been to make sure the work we publish comes from real people, putting in real effort, using real skill. And
real South Americans, real Venezuelans, real Brazilians. There are good artists down there, but one of the reasons you get artists from South America is because they're cheap. And when you get artists from almost exclusively South America, where are you not getting artists from? America. You get some, but the majority of his artists are South Americans.
While we're on this subject, I want to make something else just as clear. I'm not going to fire my employees and replace them with AI. That's my commitment.
You have a commitment to doing something that is not possible. What do you think AI is? He's talking about AI as like, man, you know that AI, shit, that AI. What is AI to you, Eric? Like Transformers and shit? Optimus Prime shit. I promise not to fire my employees and hire them with motherfucking robots from Cybertron. I ain't looked at a map. I don't even think Cybertron in America. Shit. Maybe near Chicago. I don't know.
To everyone who works here and to every single person who supports what we do. We're a US-based company.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Eric July. Hiding behind the flag. This has nothing to do with America. First of all, isn't the whole thing about the RIPPAVERSE is that it mainly takes place in a Texas that has seceded from America in the Great War of Separation? Which means that your heroes are murderers of Americans. Brian Solari was a commanding general, I believe. How many Americans did your heroes kill? Eric? Why aren't you hiding behind the flag of Texas if it's so important to you? For people in other countries who don't know, there's been like this, like, Texas should secede. And it's something that people say at bars when they're drunk and nobody actually wants to do it. You can do like a survey monkey poll and people are like, yeah, we should secede. We don't have a functioning power grid. When the temperature goes below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, shit starts shutting down. Don't even talk about if there was a real cold snap and it went below 0. We can't handle it going below freezing. It's a ridiculous stance. It's a pose. It's just something that stupid people say to impress each other. There's no actual viable push for secession, and in America, secession would mean a war, which means to win it, you would have to kill so many Americans from the other states that they go, holy shit, man, Brian Solari, who's leading Alpha Corps right now, he killed so many people from Nebraska and California and all over the country. He probably killed more than Bin Laden. So those are the heroes of the heroes of the RIPPAVERSE are people who killed Americans repeatedly in the thousands. And now he wants to hide behind stock footage of a rippling flag. What the fuck?
From the back office to the warehouse, every one of our...
So 10 feet? Because it's all one building. If you haven't worked in a factory, it's just a giant, rectangle. And like 10% over to one wall, usually facing the street, that's the office. And then the rest is the warehouse. So when he says from the back office to the warehouse, that's like you walk like 10 feet. You don't want to waste a lot of the square footage on the office. You don't need a lot of square footage for an office.
Employees as an American citizen. Now, we do work with artists and contract warehouse. Every one of our employees is an American citizen. Now,
okay, so they're disqualified to draw your comics. Every one of our employees is an American citizen. Well, that makes you the only warehouse or factory in Texas that can say that. What is that supposed to mean? Are we supposed to like salute the flag when you say that? Man, he's so inspirational. All of his low-paid factory workers are Americans. Really makes you think. Where's this guy at? Uruguay? Paraguay? Belize?
We do work with artists and contractors all over the world. That's part of what makes the RIPPAVERSE special. But our staff, the people who keep this thing running.
So a human who gets in an airplane and checks in these banners and rolls them up and puts them in tubes will not be replaced by an AI, even though an AI can't do that. That is your brave stance.
Every single day, those are real jobs held by real people, right here in America.
I was going to say, when he goes real people, I was like, don't you mean real Americans? He goes, right here in America. But you want to secede from America, right? That's your thing? You want to secede? You want Texas to secede? It's weird that you're hiding behind the flag that you want to not have any part of.
And look, I know that might sound crazy in 2025. Companies all over the place are bragging about cutting costs, automating roles, and replacing workers with AI. But that's not how we're built. When I started the RIPPAVERSE,
This is not a moral choice. You literally can't replace your workers in your factory with AI because AI can't move the boxes and it can't tape things and it can't go to conventions and present to people. But I can't help but notice when it comes to artists, you don't pick Americans for the most part. You pick South Americans who are cheaper than Americans. You undercut Americans. And again, your heroes are secessionists who murder Americans.
yeah, I wanted to address the content problems in comics, the storytelling, the quality, the lack of respect for the audience, but there was also an economic problem that I wanted to help fix. Comics had been shrinking as an industry. Talented people were losing work, so part of my mission from day one was to make this a sustainable business.
Okay, so please look at the screen. He showed a bunch of articles written by artists and writers talking about how hard it was to make a career in mainstream comics. He said he wanted to solve the problem of artists and writers not making a lot of money, and his solution was to hire a guy to move a CGC graded comic from a box to another box. That's it. That's it. That would even make that's a good thumbnail too. Thumbnails are very important to me. So yeah, so this is what Eric July promises to not replace with AI. A human who opens a box and takes something out and puts it into another box and tapes it and puts a label on it. So he vows not to replace this human with AI, even though AI can't do that right now. You would need a machine or a robot to do that. And, with losing 95% of his customers, he does not have the money for that. Man, we're only halfway through this shit.
Model that could actually employ people, pay them fairly, and give them stability, not just in theory, but in practice. Now, I want to be clear again. This isn't me calling for what other people need to do with their companies. Every business has to make their own choices, and
this allows him to sign NDAs with companies that do fire people because they do replace them with AI. Where he's like, I ain't trying to get in no one's business. I'm just trying to hide behind the American flag because I fucked up again.
I'm not trying to dictate that. This is simply how we're going to operate. These are the principles that guide our house. And maybe this approach blows up in my face one day. Maybe I'm being stubborn, but I'd rather take that risk than lay off the people who helped build this company just to chase the next trend or to save a few bucks.
I promise not to replace my warehouse workers with MurderBots. I saw that on the TV. That shit is real. It wasn't a cartoon.
To me, leadership means standing by your people.
You see this, everything he's doing. It's people moving physical objects. And his promise is to not replace people moving physical objects with AI, with ChatGPT.
Even when it costs you something. Now, that doesn't mean we'll ignore the technology. If AI can make our employees' jobs more efficient, that's fine.
So this brave stance against AI allows him to use AI. It basically says he's not going to replace people, but his employees are not artists and writers. His employees are people who work in a warehouse. That's it. People who move physical things.
Use it as a tool, not as a replacement. The goal is to help our people, not erase them. And this is where all of you come in.
So his dream was to hire 10 to 15 warehouse workers. That was the dream. When everyone's kissing his ass, man, you did what I want to do. Apparently there is a widespread dream to own or rent a warehouse and employ 10 to 15 people and not replace them with MurderBots.
Every single purchase, every book, Every piece of merch, every order directly supports real jobs.
Oh, shit. So he's not just hiding behind the flag and the cross, he's hiding behind his own employees. Man, if you don't be buying my shit, these motherfuckers on the straight, dude, for real, for real.
Support keeps real people employed with benefits, with security, with pride in.
What the fuck is this? You know, the whole thing about Marvel is there was this mystique of the bullpen, which I pictured very literally. I thought that there was this room, you know, about 30 feet across, and there was all these stations for artists along the wall, and then behind them, I'm not kidding, I literally imagined, like, when Mike Vosberg was drawing G.I. Joe whatever, that Larry Hama, who I imagined as a kind of chubby Italian-American man, was literally standing over his shoulder saying, draw this, draw that. Which, I mean, that's kind of stupid, but that's basically what they implied. They implied that the Marvel bullpen was this wacky place that was just the most fun, and wouldn't you love to visit there or work there, and we make magic there. Eric, who is a dunce, replaced the Marvel bullpen with a Texas warehouse where the Grinch twins act silly by drinking Monster Energy drink. Like, what is, they're signing books? Sounds fun.
What they're creating. So as this industry continues to evolve, just know this: the RIPPAVERSE is going to keep putting its people first. That's my promise as the owner, and that's not going to change.
Okay, so just to reiterate, because I feel like, you know, before the video I had a very clear plan, and I ended up just repeating the same thing 20 times because it's so shocking. RIPPAVERSE, Eric July, chose, knowingly shipped damaged items, misprinted items to the customers for the third time in 1 year. And now he's like, you know, hiding behind religion, the flag, and his own employees. Because he doesn't want to accept responsibility. So he's doing this fake folksy, looking at the camera, man, I gotta take some time out of my day just to be real with you. And what he promised is to not replace his warehouse employees with MurderBots, essentially. He talked about AI the way your grandpa talks about it. That it's just like some vague, threatening force, while also admitting that he will use AI. The elephant in the room here is that he didn't fix any problem in the industry. The problem in the industry was writers and artists not getting fair pay, not getting raises for 20 years, having financial instability. His solution for that was to hire 10 to 15 guys to work in a warehouse. And then when it came to hire artists, he mostly hired people from South America because they're cheaper. And with writers, although he started off good with Mike Barron and Chuck Dixon, now his writers are e-celebs, YouTubers, Mahler and Critical Drinker, and Az, an actual imbecile, is a writer at. So how does that help someone like J.M. DeMatteis, who's a really good writer and doesn't get a lot of work from Marvel, or Jerry Conway, or any of the older, like, how does that solve that issue? It doesn't. So there's 10 to 15 warehouse workers that are working at his warehouse instead of a warehouse down the street, which is what they would have done. And you have a bunch of writers who are just shithead right-wing e-celebs, like Mahler, and I think he got, did he get that guy who sounds like the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck when he was in gestation? What is that guy's name? Drunk 3PO? The guy talks like a dummy from like a Disney sitcom. It's like, I went to see the Marvel movie. It was woke. Like that's who's hired And again, these are contractor jobs. They're not employees. He's implying that it's employees. When it's time for him to hire a writer, after making 2 good decisions, he said, "Man, I just a YouTuber who gets more than 100,000 views. That's what I buy. That's what I hire." With an artist, yeah, he'll have some Americans do designs and do covers, but the interiors, almost always, South Americans because they're cheaper. He's full of shit, and he's hiding behind the flag, the cross, and the financial stability of his warehouse workers instead of taking responsibility for his 3rd whoops of the year. Anyway, thanks for watching.